Okay, for this review, I decided I'd watch an anime movie, which I don't often watch. The last anime movie I saw before this was probably Teen Titans. I've seen a lot of the Teen Titans movies, so that's probably one of them. The one where they go to Tokyo. Anyway, so this first movie that I watched, which was an anime, it wasn't the first anime I watched, but it was the first Ghost in the Shell movie that I ever watched. And this is the original movie from 1995, directed by Mamoru Oshii. And it's by him. I watched it. It's 85 minutes long. 82 minutes long, approximately. Which is pretty short for an anime movie this caliber. This is probably one of the most respected animes I can think of. And although I'm not too familiar with the genre, I do know that there's respected animes, and this is probably one of the most highest rated. Tastes a little bit like chocolate milk. Ooh, the rest of that. But first of all, it's called Ghost in the Shell. It's about a detective who is a robot, a robot who is, and they call everything a shell. They call bodies shells in the movie, which is why this is probably one of the most respected animes, because it's very, like, I want to say complex, but that's already in the title of the series Standalone Complex, which is a Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, or SAC. So I'm not gonna say complex. I'm just gonna say it's different from what you're used to, because they call bodies shells, because in this universe you can take people's brains and put them inside of robots and things like that, and memories. It's a little bit like Blade Runner, where you can have memories from somebody's, niece or something like that, and have it implanted in your robot's brain. And they won't even, but in this movie they know that they're robots. In Blade Runner they don't know they're robots or replicants. Basically androids. All of them are androids, but they have different names for them. I don't know why, and they just go with android name in all the movies. But anyway, so I'm gonna call them. I don't know. I guess I'll call them shells in this movie. Although there are human biotic people who are also known as shells in this movie. So I'm not really sure exactly what to call them. I'll call them androids in the movie. So anyway, the detective's an android. She goes and she has to find somebody whose name is the Puppet Master. Not like the movie's Puppet Master. His name is Puppet Master. He isn't even a real person. He's a program. I'm not really ruining anything. It's a program. It's not a person. So it's an AI entity who thinks of itself as a life form. Although it's obviously, it's not a life form by our standards. It's not like an organic organism, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, first of all, there's a lot of things you can think about this movie, which is probably why on the top it says unusually intelligent and challenging science fiction aimed at smart audiences. So this is probably, you won't get it if you cut out of school 3rd grade. You're probably not going to get it. I'd say like 5th grade and above, you probably get this movie. So like if you were in school past the 5th grade, then you'd probably get it. But if you cut out before then, you might just like the action parts and things. You might not just understand the story part of it. Especially if you get the subtitled version, because then you probably just wouldn't even bother reading it. Anyway, so that works. So anyway, first of all, for the review portion of this, I'd say the movie's really, really something. There are a lot of cool things in this, a lot of cool action. There's so much, in fact, that you can really enjoy it. There's a lot of creepy parts, though, like a lot of bosoms flapping about. that I wasn't quite keen on at the time, but I've grown used to it, I suppose. And there's also just some the animated nudity. There's bad language. There's quite a bit of gunplay in this. So, if you're in the 5th grade, you probably shouldn't even be watching this anyway. You should probably be watching this when you're probably in whatever high school grades would be. So keep that in mind too. It's not for kids, even though it's a cartoon, which confused me at first. So I thought it was going to be for a kids movie, but you see the gun and you see some cleavage on the front. So you probably should take a hint from that this is not a kids movie. Because in Japan, everybody watches cartoons, especially elderly people. So it's a tour de force, a visual tour de force, which is true. So I'd say definitely watch it. It's definitely a watcher. Especially if you're not a fan of the genre, this will probably get you into anime. So if you've been looking for the gateway anime, this is definitely your gateway anime, I'd say. This will get you into a lot of things, including Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, so I'd suggest thoroughly.